What's going on, everybody? Steel Jedi here. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about the draft. Not necessarily any players per se, but more position-oriented draft. Sorry, I gotta get my stabilizer, my lap pad that holds my laptop. Anyway, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about two different positions, maybe three. Let's start off with the least obvious one, and that is inside linebacker. Listen, I know a bunch of people are saying the Steelers need to address the inside linebacker position in the draft. I'm telling you guys, do not do that. There's a reason why we signed Vince Williams to a 3-year deal, and we drafted Tyler Matakevich last year out of Temple. I personally believe that Vince Williams can come in this season opposite of Ryan Shazier and be a Pro Bowler. I think he is probably the hardest hitting player that we have on our team. You look at when he's on special teams, he's flying down the field and he cracks different players. Like, I still remember Christmas Day, the massive hit against the Ravens return specialist and against Tyreek Hill in the divisional game. This team has lost that sense of power and that sense of physicality. And I love that out of Vince Williams, who I am now coining V-Rex. The reason being, look at his haircut and then look at him. He looks like T-Rex, and V rhymes with T, so yeah. So his new name is V-Rex to me. So you got Shazier and V-Rex in the middle of the field. That's perfect in my opinion. I think he is such an underrated linebacker in the league. Excuse me. And so two positions I want to talk about today. Not really safety, because I do think we need to address that, but I think we can wait to round 3 or 4 to address it, and that player can play under Mike Mitchell for a year, and then once Mike Mitchell's contract is up, that player will take his spot. I am not a fan of Mike Mitchell, but what I want to talk about is the debate of corner versus outside linebacker round 1. Seems like we're having this argument almost every year or every other year. And while I know the Steelers are known to draft outside linebackers round 1 and get back to that Blitzburg era, I personally believe that outside linebacker can wait till at least round 2 or 3. I mean, this outside linebacker group is absolutely stacked with talent for the first 4 rounds. Everybody in the first 4 rounds could potentially be a starter at the next level. And I'm being serious about that. So to me, I think the number one need that we need to address this offseason is corner. Look at Ross Cockrell. To me, he's Cortez Allen 2.0. He's not a great corner, in my opinion. He hasn't played well this past season. He played okay in the season before. But to me, you need to bring in a cornerback round 1. Whether it be Garyon Conley, Fabian Moreau, if you even use Obi Melifonwu at corner, I would still think he would do a better job than Ross Cockrell. There's a reason why no teams are picking up Ross Cockrell. There's a reason why teams weren't picking up Cortez Allen when he got released by the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a reason why they're not picking him up. Guys, you got to realize Ross Cockrell is not the answer. Ross Cockrell is not a starting cornerback, or shouldn't be a starting cornerback on my Pittsburgh Steelers defense. This guy, keep this in mind. Artie Burns didn't officially start till week 9. Had his first career interception in his first career start against the Baltimore Ravens. We ultimately ended up losing that game. But the fact of the matter is that he made an immediate impact in the first game that he started is outrageous. Artie Burns played 10 times better than Ross Cockrell, and he only played 8 games during the season, not including the playoffs. Ross Cockrell played the entire season. He had one good game the entire year, and that was the first game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Ross Cockrell will not be the answer to our cornerback core in 2017. To me, picking up a cornerback round 1 is essential because of the fact that, look at last year, the reason why Artie Burns was not tested as much was because they know that they could pick on Ross Cockrell every single time. They knew they could pick on Ross Cockrell. And if they threw to Artie Burns' side, there was an 85% chance that Artie Burns was going to pick it off. He had 3 interceptions in 8 games. You look at any other corner that was drafted in this year's draft. Jalen Ramsey started since day 1. Vernon Hargraves started since day 1. Eli Apple, I am pretty sure, started since day 1. All those guys, and I'm not even going to include William Jackson III because he was injured the entire year. But all 3 of those guys that were drafted before Artie Burns started the entire season and didn't have the same kind of stats that Artie Burns did. That proves that Artie Burns is elite. We need another young, talented corner. And I'm not talking about free agency. We do not need to bring in Darrelle Revis. I realize Darrelle Revis was a fantastic cornerback. But the past couple of years, he started to decline. And we can't use that on our defense. We can't have that kind of corner on our defense. We need somebody young, physical, fast, and has great ball skills. To me, Fabian Moreau checks all those boxes. I would even go as far as picking him up round 1. Now, I know the Pittsburgh Steelers have not looked at Fabian Moreau yet, or have looked at him and it just isn't public. But to me, when they go to UCLA's Pro Day to look at Takk McKinley, who I am not a huge fan of, you have to look at Fabian Moreau. I believe Fabian Moreau is a Pro Bowler year 1. I'm being brutally honest. I think he is a Pro Bowler year 1. And can you imagine having what that impact would be on our defense? Now you have 2 young cornerbacks on the outside who teams are going to have to seriously rethink who they're going to try and test. Are they going to try and test Artie Burns, who they knew last year every time the ball was thrown to him, he would either break it off, pick it off, or make a tackle immediately where the guy was on the ball? Or are they going to test the young rookie and Fabian Moreau? And Fabian Moreau has a very similar build and playing style to Artie Burns. Now you have 2 guys that you have to try and think, okay, who am I going to test? And it's not smart to test either one of them. Then you go to the slot. And the slot's only going to get you 5-10 yards, maybe, per pass. Unless you run some sort of streak down the field. That's why I think it is absolutely critical to pick up a round 1 Pro Bowl type talent in Fabian Moreau or Gary and Conley. Keep in mind, I still have my eye on Fabian Moreau. He's the WJ3 of this year to me. Look at what he did in the Shrine game, East-West Shrine game. It just looked easy to him. It looked like he's already played in the National Football League for years. He had no picks. I get that. But he had a pass breakup. He ran a guy out of bounds on a legitimate, legal hit, and he completely shadowed the guy that he was playing against the rest of the game, and nobody was able to throw it to him. And he then went to the combine. Let me pull up his combine scores. I know this is a long video, but his combine was... He came in at 6 foot, even though he's really 6'1", 206, 9-inch hands, 31 and 1/8 inch arm span. He didn't participate in the bench. That's okay. He jumped a 38 vertical, an 11.4 broad, and his official 40-yard dash was a 4.35. So he's already faster than Artie Burns. He jumps higher than Artie Burns. And on top of all that, he has the almost exact same build as Artie Burns. To me, it's a no-brainer, guys. Fabian Moreau needs to go round 1. And I know I've had issues with putting him in round 1 in the past. But to me, he's not a reach in round 1. To me, he's a steal in round 1. I think he should go mid-first round. But because of where he played and the injury he sustained in 2015, he's dropping down draft boards. But he's also rising up draft boards because of the fact that he had an amazing combine where he looked fluid in the drills. He had an amazing East-West Shrine game. And he had an outstanding season at UCLA this year. So that's what I have. You pair up him with Artie Burns, and right there, that's no fly zone. I can almost put a stamp on it. Let me know what you guys think down below, and may the steel be with you.